The man who waited for the perfect opportunity. There are people in almost every city in the world who believe that one day a massive opportunity will arrive in their life. A phone call, a mail, a person, an event. And after that, everything will change. Ethan was exactly that kind of person. He wasn't a bad person. He wasn't lazy either. He even had dreams. But he harbored a strange belief. He used to think, my time hasn't come yet. Every time a new opportunity appeared before him, he would say, let me prepare a little more. Let me learn a bit more. Let a better time come. Years were passing by, but not much was changing in his life. One afternoon, while walking through the old part of the city, he spotted a peculiar shop. There was no signboard in front of the shop. Only a single sentence was written above the door. Those who wait for opportunity, enter here. Out of curiosity, he stepped inside. An elderly man was sitting within. Calm eyes, a deliberate voice. He looked at Ethan and said, "Are you still waiting for that one opportunity?" Ethan was stunned. "How did you know?" The old man smiled and said, "Because I have seen many people like you." Then he stood up. He pulled out an old wooden box. Written on top of the box was, "The Room of Closed Doors." The old man said, "People think opportunities do not come to them. But in reality, most people do not lose opportunities. They fail to recognize them." Ethan could not understand a thing. The old man opened the box, and right at that moment, Ethan found himself in a strange place. Surrounding him were hundreds of doors. Some were golden, some were wooden, some were made of iron. Different names were written over every single door. Business, relationship, health, dream project, new life. Astonished, Ethan asked, "What are these?" The old man replied, "These are the opportunities of human life, and most people spend their entire lives standing in front of this hallway, but they never step inside." Ethan slowly walked up to the first door. He reached out his hand and pushed the door. But the door did not open. The second door, not that one either. The third door, still nothing. After a while, he said in frustration, "I knew it. Opportunities are not meant for everyone." Right then, the old man burst into laughter. "That is exactly your problem. You are pushing the doors, but you are not looking." Ethan was confused. "What do you mean?" The old man pointed his finger, and that was when Ethan noticed for the very first time. Beside every single door, there was a tiny handle. These doors weren't meant to be pushed open, they had to be pulled open. And at that exact moment, something shifted inside his mind, because he was beginning to realize perhaps many doors in his life were never closed to begin with. Perhaps he had just been trying the wrong way all along. Ethan stood there silently for a while. His eyes were still fixed on those doors, one door after another. The ones he had thought were closed just a few moments ago. But in reality, they were not closed. He was just trying to open them the wrong way. The old man slowly came and stood beside him. Then he said, "You know, Ethan, the biggest problem in human life is not the lack of opportunity. The biggest problem is they follow the wrong map." Ethan frowned. "The wrong map?" The old man nodded and said, "Come." Instantly, the surrounding scenery changed again. This time, they were standing in a massive desert. As far as the eye could see, only sand. Silent, infinite emptiness. In the distance, a traveler was walking, tired, thirsty. For years he had supposedly been searching for a city where, once reached, his life would change. In his hand was an old map. He looks at that map every day. He walks the same path every day. He makes the same mistake every day. But he does not know the map is wrong, old, useless. At one point, he sits down on the ground exhausted. And right then, a passenger comes and stands before him. The passenger has a new map in his hand. He says, "You are going the wrong way." But the traveler gets angry. "Impossible. I have been using this map for 10 years. This is the truth." The passenger asks calmly, "Have you reached the city?" The traveler falls silent because the answer was no. The old man looked at Ethan. "Do you understand?" Ethan spoke slowly. "Many people live with old beliefs." "Exactly," the old man said. "Most people do not lose opportunities. They keep looking for a new life with an old map." "I am not good enough. I have grown old. I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't know anyone." These words are not reality. These are maps. And the problem is, people mistake the map for reality. Ethan suddenly started thinking about his own life. How many years had he told himself, "We'll do it one day. We'll start one day. An opportunity will come one day." But that day never came because he was waiting. He wasn't moving. The old man now drew a line on the ground. Then he said, "Suppose on one side of this line is your current life, and on the other side is your desired life. Most people think there is a massive pit in the middle, so they just stand there. They wait. But in reality, it is not a pit in the middle. In the middle, there is just a single small step." Ethan listened silently. The old man spoke again. "Opportunities usually do not come as massive doors. Opportunities come as small decisions. An application, a phone call, a video, a page of a book, a new habit, an uncomfortable decision. But people do not value these because they do not look like an opportunity." Suddenly, the desert scene disappeared. Ethan was back in that hallway of doors again. But this time, he saw something else. Beneath every single door, a tiny sentence was written. "Pull. Take one step forward. Try just once. Apply. Start before you feel fully ready." His chest felt a sudden jolt because he was beginning to understand perhaps the greatest opportunities in life never arrive dramatically. Perhaps they stand before him every single day, and he just fails to recognize them. Right then, the biggest door in the hallway began to tremble slowly. Written on top of the door was, "Opportunity." Ethan stared at the door. His heartbeat quickened because this time he had to make the choice. Will he wait or will he step forward?
The opportunity that everyone loses. Ethan stood in front of that massive door. Written on top of the door, "Opportunity." A strange feeling was inside his chest. Excitement, fear, doubt, hope, all together. He looked at the old man and said, "What if I make a mistake?" The old man smiled lightly and said, "This very question kills the most valuable opportunities in the world." Ethan fell silent because he had asked this question hundreds of times in his life. What if I fail? What if people laugh? What if it doesn't work? What if I'm not? There was a farmer in a country. He possessed the rarest seed in the world. People used to say, if this seed is planted, a massive fruit orchard will be created within a few years. Countless fruits, countless trees, extraordinary prosperity. But the farmer did not plant the seed because he was afraid. What if the seed gets ruined? What if the weather turns bad? What if the fruits do not grow? What if I plant it in the wrong place? So he waited for a better time, for better weather, to be more certain. 1 year passed, 2 years passed, 5 years passed. One day, he opened the box and saw The seeds had dried up. They were dead.
That day he understood he did not lose the seed. He lost time. And once time is gone, it never returns. The old man looked at Ethan. Do you know where the most people in the world lose? Ethan shook his head and said, in failure? No, in hesitation. Because a failed person at least tried, but a hesitant person never gets to know what they could have become. Hearing this, Ethan's body trembled because he suddenly began to remember many opportunities from his own life. The business idea he never started, the course he never enrolled in, the application form he never sent, the dream for which he never took the first step, the guide channel he had dismissed thinking it was just a story. Suddenly he understood the biggest losses in his life did not come from failure, they came from not trying. Right then the hallway of doors began to change. Shadows of hundreds of people appeared all around. Someone had wanted to write a book. Someone had wanted to start a business. Someone had wanted to start a new life. Someone had wanted to show their talent to the world. But they were all stuck in a single sentence. We'll do it one day. And that one day never came. The old man now stopped. Then he said, Ethan, people do not lose opportunities. People hand over opportunities to the hands of tomorrow. And tomorrow never comes. Hearing this, it was as if something broke inside Ethan. He slowly stepped forward in front of the opportunity door. Now, for the first time, he placed his hand on the door handle. His hand was shaking because he knew. He did not know what lay on the other side of the door, but this time he knew an even bigger truth. What would happen if he kept standing here? He knew that very well. And right then, he pulled the handle. The door slowly began to open. Bright light emerged from within. And inside that light, Ethan saw something which was about to change his entire life. The truth on the other side of the door. The door was opening slowly. In the bright light, nothing could be seen for a while. Ethan squinted and looked ahead. Then, what he saw, he was not ready for. Because on the other side of the door, there was no wealth. There was no luxurious house. There was no miraculous shortcut either. Standing there was he himself, but different, more confident, more calm, more mature, more alive. Ethan was stunned. Who is this? The old man's voice floated in. This is the person you could have been if you hadn't left opportunity for tomorrow every single time. Ethan's chest felt a sudden wrench. He stepped forward. He saw that no magic had happened in the life of that future Ethan. He had not won any lottery. No one had come to save him. No miraculous event had occurred. Rather, he saw one day that man had sent an application form. One day he had made a terrifyingly difficult phone call. One day he had started a small project. One day he had ignored the words, "I am not ready." And those small decisions had slowly built a new life. Suddenly, Ethan realized he had been looking for opportunity all this time. But opportunity is not actually an event. Opportunity is a decision. The old man spoke again. Most people in the world imagine opportunity the wrong way. They think opportunity means a massive door. But in reality, opportunity often arrives like a small handle, so small that people do not even value it. Ethan listened silently.
Because now he has started to see his life through different eyes. He is beginning to understand the biggest loss in his life was not failure. His biggest loss was waiting. Waiting for a better time, for more confidence, to be more certain. But life never becomes certain. And that is exactly why courage is needed. That future Ethan on the other side of the door slowly began to fade away. Before disappearing, he spoke just one sentence. The life you are waiting for is also waiting for you. The surrounding light slowly vanished. Ethan was standing in that old shop once again. The old man was there too. "What do I do now?" Ethan asked. The old man smiled lightly and said, "Do not think about the next 1 year. Do not think about the next 5 years either. Just do that one task which you have been putting off for a very long time. Because life does not change with big decisions. Life changes with the decision you have been avoiding for a long time." Ethan stepped out of the shop. The city outside was just as before. The same street, the same people, the same sky. But something had changed inside him. Because he has finally understood, the doors were never closed. He was the one who hadn't held the handle. Today's challenge. Ask yourself a question today. In front of which door have you been standing for a very long time? A phone call? An application? A new habit? A dream? Within the next 24 hours, take just one single step regarding that matter. Let it be small. Let it be incomplete. Let it be taken with fear. But do not wait, because opportunity usually comes to those who step forward first.